Thank you for the click. My name is Luxeley, the kindergarten school dropout behind a microphone, keyboard, and mouse, wearing Game of Thrones pajamas. Welcome aboard. Get ready for the ride. Demonology Warlocks are bad. Now, don't get the wrong idea. Not bad in a play WoW by poking at your keyboards with chopsticks or drumsticks kind of bad. More like a Bruce Willis in Die Hard kind of bad. From a rutt in Legion to kick butt in BFA. I'm a harsh critic when it comes to a lot of things in World of Warcraft, but Demonology rocks. Now, before I reveal why BFA's version of Demonology Warlocks are the most fun and engaging specializations I've played in a very, very long time, even more fun than Shadow Priest in Warlords of Draenor the Fun, which a lot of my viewers, loyal, consistent viewers, know I had a blast, a mind blast, playing Shadow in Warlords of Draenor. Did I say Draenor? I meant Draenor the Fun. But Demonology is better than that for a lot of reasons I'm going to get into in a little bit. But first I want to talk about fun. What is fun? I mean, fun is unquestionably subjective, and I completely understand and accept you may or may not agree with me about Demonology being numero uno for fun in Battle for Azeroth. But let's agree to agree on a few things here. One, Demonology lost a generous amount of identity and fun factor with the addition of Demon Hunters in Legion. Blizzard moved a few key abilities across the ledger from Demonology's Bat Utility Belt to Demon Hunter's repertoire. 2, Demonology needed a makeover more than any other specialization in the game. And 3, even if you disagree about the fun factor in Battle for Azeroth's version of Demonology, I'm very confident we can agree the spec is one of the most improved specs going forward. Now, I want to just get into a little bit of this about why players choose a particular class, why they choose to play a certain main in World of Warcraft, because it's done for a lot of different reasons. Little doubt the fun factor does heavily weigh into the decision here about what class to play, let alone what role to play. I mean, fun when playing a class or specialization can translate into a lot of different things for a lot of different players. And while fun may be something different for everyone, I believe we can agree fun is the main reason why we choose to continue playing a certain class or spec. Now, maybe your favorite Twitch streamer or WoW YouTuber plays a certain class and you find yourself excited about playing the same exact class, or maybe there's a particular NPC in WoW that inspires you to play. Let's say Rexxar, Khadgar, Thrall, Anduin, they inspire you to play. Hunter, Mage, Shaman, Priest, respectively. It happens. We are drawn to that. Just like a kid might be drawn to pretend he's the center fielder for the New York Yankees, or he's Giancarlo Stanton. Some players are attracted to the fantasy or roleplay aspect of a particular class. A lot of times players are drawn to playing a certain role, such as healer, DPS, both melee, range, tanks, all of which offer different experiences and perspectives. Now, furthermore, you can break things down into greater detail by whether you choose a Fire Mage over a Frost Mage, a Resto Shaman over a Resto Druid, Blood DK tank over a Brewmaster tank. So many choices, and there's reasons why we make these choices. Now, it's also very reasonable that a class's overall toolkit may be what is most appealing to you. Strong AoE or massive single target damage or a certain utility or special ability that the class offers might give you a sense of purpose or a sense of perfection or a sense of uniqueness. Let me give you a few examples here. Ring of Peace, Thunderstorm, Explosive Trap. They give you jollies. They're fun. Or maybe the rotation of a specific class or spec feels very fluid, very smooth, and you're kind of like a duck to water when you play it. Or you might find yourself attracted to the animations or sound effects of a particular class. That's one thing that heavily works with me. I don't know about you guys, but I really feel that this is a very underrated part of World of Warcraft, something Blizzard does extraordinarily well, and sometimes people aren't really aware of just how engaging or immersive the combat mechanics can be. Given how old the game engine is, that's very, very impressive. And of course, there's the other reason why people choose to play a class. They migrate to a certain class or spec. You ever notice these people? They just simply love to play the flavor of the month, the OP class. But there's something to be said about the appeal of being a demigod among mortal men, or being a pro taking on the varsity high school team, or quite frankly taking out mobs of players with ease and even consistency. I want to ask you guys a question. What is it that draws you to the class that you play the most, your so-called main? And whatever it is, leave it in the comments. Tell me why. I'm very curious to hear. I do respond to comments, provided you guys speak intelligently and respect each other in the comments and keep the word simple so I don't have to struggle with English. But I do respond. I think that if you guys could take a few minutes, watch this video, I could take a few seconds and offer a response. By far, I've seen more Demonology Warlocks on the BFA beta than any other specialization, and there's quite a few reasons why. You can cite the outstanding single target damage or AoE damage. Matter of fact, I've spoken to quite a few. Anytime I've seen someone play a Demo Warlock on the BFA beta, I asked them, how do you like it? What do you think? And they just don't stop talking. They just don't stop typing. They have nothing but good things to say. I must have talked to over a dozen different people, and they absolutely love the spec. One guy even told me that he was doing 7K DPS as Demonology, about 4K DPS as Destro, and about 2.5K DPS as Affliction. And he says that he's a very, very avid Mythic Dungeon guy in Legion right now, and what he's been doing in BFA, more of the same, and he absolutely loves it. So it's real kick-ass kind of damage. And here's why I think Demonology rocks, aside from the amazing damage, which by the way will most likely get nerfed somewhere along the line. I'm as confident about that as I am about picking last year's Super Bowl winner. And even when Demonology runs headfirst into the nerf bat, I'll still be the guy that finds it a lot of fun. I think there's a lot of fun factors about this, and even if the damage does drop a few notches down, I think it's going to be spectacular. And let me get into specifics here, because a lot of people say, oh, Demonology's fun, or this is fun, or DKs are fun. Before I get into specifics, though, I want to talk about a few honorable mentions, such as Survival Hunters, amazingly fun, great revamp. MM Hunters, getting back some mobility, great damage, also worthy of mention. And even Frost DKs. Now, there are a few specs I haven't played yet, such as Windwalker Monk and Havoc Demon Hunters. Arms Warriors, another class worthy of honorable mention. But in my opinion, Demonology rocks. Here's why. An insane number of demons can be summoned, and they can hang around for a cigarette break for quite some time. And as insane as you might think insane is right now in your mind, after you hear what I say, you'll have a new and improved definition of insanity. Here's your demonic zoo. Get ready for this. Readily available, 8 to 10 imps, 2 Dreadstalkers, Bile Scourge Bombers, which are essentially an airstrike of demons, 1 Vile Fiend, another portal summoning, you guessed it, more demons, Grimoire of Sacrifice summoning yet another demon, and of course the Demonic Tyrant, who increases the duration of your demons and their damage by 15%. Oh yeah, I almost forgot to mention, there's a talent called Inner Demons that summons a demon every 10 seconds. These demons last significantly longer than they did in Legion. In some cases, 2 times longer, and that's not even factoring in the buffs that can increase their damage or increase their duration. This is just huge. Cumulatively, they do more damage, and the best part about all this, from a PvP perspective, they're enormously, if not impossible to subdue or stop, because they're both ranged and melee and aerial. Okay, so they're basically hitting you from land, sea, air, every possible way. Sure, melee, you could freeze them, but when they're scattered about and you have range and you have melee, it's really hard to get a mass entanglement on all of them or a Frost Nova on all of them. It's just not going to happen. Now, it's absolutely wonderful for anybody who's playing a Demonology Warlock, but totally insane for everybody else who has to face you. So you see how that works. If that's not enough for you, there's more. Demonology offers enormous flexibility with playstyle. You can sit back, be a general, you could be your own general, behind the front lines with a Coke and a sandwich and let your demons do all the work. You can just hang out, be fat, be lazy, have a beer, let the demons do all the work. Or you can spec to set up a very hard-hitting demon bolt, which can be set up to be mostly instant cast, which is going to give you a hell of a lot of mobility as well. And of course, the traditional Warlock hallmark of Shadow Bolt, which also can get a buff to pump up the damage. Okay, there's more. Imp Implosion, one of the most fun demonology abilities, happens to be more fun than ever. More fun than ever. Instead of one quick implosion of imps, which was cool and great, the ability triggers more like a rapid-fire machine gun. It's like boom, 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 and it's so quick, and it's great. It really has this incredible feel. I love it. It has this incredible feeling, and there are a lot more imps that you could implode. Like I said, you could easily have 8, 10, probably even set yourself up to have 12 imps, and they last over 20 seconds. So that's without the buff. So that's huge, and that doesn't include the demonic tyrant, who is kind of real buff, nasty demon dude who hangs around and gives them buffs. And all right, there's more. Bile Scourge Bombers. It's a talent. It's a hell of a lot of fun. Much in the same way you'd imagine calling any given airstrike would be fun. They can't really be stopped either. Yeah, maybe you can move out of the way, but they're great. And get this, the cooldown is only 30 seconds. So it's just within a circle radius, they just kind of boom, 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 just dive bomb onto people, and it's great. It's fun. It really is. Soul Strike is an awesome, incredible talent. The ability commands your Felguard to strike your enemies with a fair amount of shadow damage, but the damage isn't really the best part. Soul Strike generates a quick soul shard every time the Felguard hits somebody, and it happens to be on a very long cooldown of 10 seconds. Yes, for those of you who are not aware, that is sarcasm. Every 10 seconds, you're guaranteed to get a soul shard and do a little bit of damage from your Felguard, and it's got a 50-yard range. So even if your Felguard is far away from the target, really cool, absolutely great addition. But honestly, you can make a case that you don't necessarily need this because you are going to be generating a ton of soul shards. Quick, easy to do in Battle for Azeroth. Survivability is a holdover from Legion. One thing about Demonology, they basically were like a truck. They were not particularly easy to take out. Mostly because of Soul Link and Soul Leech, both are a lethal combination to keep you in a fight. But there's also your Healthstone and Drain Life. All this was in Legion, but there's, of course, more. There's the talent choice of either Demon Skin or Dark Pack, which obviously will add to your overall survivability. The latter talent has been reworked a little bit. This is the one downer here. Your health sacrificed. Basically, your health is sacrificed instead of your demon's health, and the shield absorbs 250% of the sacrificed health, not 400% like Legion. So that's a little bit of a bummer, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. The survivability is off the charts. Now, CC can also add to your survivability, especially an ability like Motor Coil, which gives you a little bit of a heal, and Shadow Fury, which incidentally is now baseline for every single Warlock spec. Not done yet. Mobility. Mobility is greatly increased, and mobility can often create opportunity in PvP. If your damage is less than desired, not because of skill, but just simply your class is a bit underperforming, you can always compensate with mobility and buy yourself time to create an advantageous opportunity. It's kind of like a quarterback in American football when your offensive line kind of breaks down and the protection that you're supposed to get deteriorates. If you have good legs, you can make good things happen by scrambling around, keep yourself alive, keep the play alive, maybe make a little magic happen. Warlocks can do that, Demonology can do that, especially with all the instant casts that you're going to be having. And your Demonic Gateway, the cast time is half of what it was in Legion, which is absolutely incredible. And if you really want to go overkill, you can spec into the talent to get the Demonic Circle, which is also a talent choice in BFA. Now, the main reason I believe mobility will be noticeably improved is because of the talent Power Siphon and the passive ability Demonic Core. Power Siphon immediately grants you 2 stacks of Demonic Core. What is Demonic Core? I hear people asking. Good question. When your Dreadstalkers fade away, there's a 100% chance you'll be granted a stack of Demonic Core. When your imps fade away, there's a 10% chance you'll be granted a stack of Demonic Core. Since you could have about 8 or 10 imps out at any given time, that's really almost guaranteeing you're going to get a stack there. Now, Demonic Core reduces the cast time of Demon Bolt by 100%, making it instant cast. And incidentally, Demon Bolt will grant you 2 soul shards, as opposed to everything else pretty much only granting you 1. This is a very smooth and fun and viable kind of rotation because you're going to be getting a lot of instant casts, and you could store up to 4 charges of Demonic Core, and it boom, 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 and it's just crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. Here's a valid question I want to address, and that is, what is the best race for Demo Warlocks? And for Horde, there's really no question here. The Orc racials are just off the charts great. The increased damage that your pets will get, and the increased overall damage with Blood Fury, just absolutely huge for Orcs. I mean, think of this. You summon a ton of demons. You're talking about 12, 15 demons out there on the plane, on the battlefield. Then you have your Demonic Tyrant doing his thing. Hit Blood Fury to increase your overall damage. You get the passive increase in pet damage, and it's just ouch. It's like ouch, big time ouch. It's huge. Now, on the Alliance side, Void Elf is arguably the best because you have Spatial Rift to give you that added slipperiness and mobility. Imagine having that along with the Gateway and maybe Demonic Circle, and you're teleporting everywhere almost like a mage. That is pretty nasty. Preternatural, I can't say preternatural calm, which is spellcasts. They're not delayed by damage, which is going to be huge because you're going to be trying to summon as many demons as you can. And generally, you're going to be doing that in the old-fashioned way, which is casting most of the time, hard cast. Unless, of course, we see some PvP talents that change that, which would make this spec even more dangerous. And the last reason why I say Void Elves is because Entropic Embrace, which acts like the Undead racial Touch of the Grave, which is going to give you procs of damage, and it procs quite often. I've been playing a lot of Void Elf, both on live and in the BFA beta, and it does proc quite a bit, so you can work that to your advantage. Overall, I am absolutely excited about playing Demonology. To me, it's not going to necessarily matter what what happens with BFA. For me, it's about the actual gameplay. I don't care about the lore. I don't care about dungeons, mythic dungeons, raids. Yes, I care about PvP. That's going to be a big factor for me as well if the PvP is good. I think it's kind of difficult to make it worse. But then again, I said the same thing in Warlords of Drain All the Fun, and Legion managed to make it a little bit worse. All right, let's be real. Let's be real here. Incredibly worse. So I honestly believe that PvP is going to improve in BFA, and I haven't really seen anything yet. The PvP talents are not even live yet, so we'll have to see how it works, but I find it really hard to believe it could possibly be worse. But I am just absolutely stoked and excited to play a Demonology Warlock. I think it could be like it was for me in Warlords of Drain All the Fun, where I basically had 2 Shadow Priests, a Night Elf, and a Human, and just was consistently playing the spec because I absolutely loved it. So these are my thoughts. I am going to put together a very detailed, what I would call a transition guide, that's going to go over what's lost and what's new and what's been slightly tweaked or changed for Demonology, and go into detail, make a very seamless transition for everyone out there, including myself. One thing I do well is guides, so be subscribed to pick up that guide. Not sure when it's going to be done, but it will be out before Battle for Azeroth launches. This is Luxeley, and I'm telling you, whatever it is by you, whether it's morning or it's afternoon or it's night, make it epic.